Hey there. So tonight, I want to tell you a story. A story you can listen to while you're drifting off to sleep. The kind that warms your heart a little and teaches you some real life English along the way. You'll hear natural phrases, expressions, and phrasal verbs, the ones people actually use all the time. So just get comfy, close your eyes, and let the story flow. There's a girl named Lena, a college student in Seattle, who found herself in a cozy little cafe one rainy afternoon. She hadn't planned to go. Her friend Chloe had talked her into grabbing coffee before class. That's when Ethan appeared, sitting by the window, sunlight pouring in, completely lost in a book. He had this calm, quiet confidence that made him stand out. Lena tried not to stare, but Chloe leaned over and whispered, "Girl, you're totally checking him out." Lena rolled her eyes, but she couldn't help noticing him. A small moment changed everything. Lena's phone slipped out of her hand and fell under his chair. Ethan bent down, picked it up, and smiled. A smile that could make anyone pause for a second. "Careless much?" he teased, handing it over. Lena laughed it off, and soon they were talking like old friends. Ethan's voice was calm but warm. They discovered they had a lot in common: music, movies, favorite coffee flavors. Chloe tried to nudge Lena out of the conversation, but Lena didn't even notice. They didn't notice the time flying by until Chloe reminded her about class. Before leaving, Ethan said, "Maybe I'll run into you again." Lena smiled faintly. Maybe. Over the next few days, Lena couldn't get him out of her head. Every time she walked past that cafe, she looked around, hoping to bump into him again. And she did. Ethan was there again, sketching something in his notebook. Lena walked up, trying to play it cool. "Oh, hey," she said. He looked up and grinned. "You mean fancy seeing me at my usual spot?" They both laughed, and soon they were falling into conversation as if they had known each other forever. From that day, they started hanging out more. Late night walks by the lake, random coffee breaks, shared playlists, and movie nights that stretched until 2 a.m. Ethan wasn't like anyone Lena had ever met. He paid attention, remembered little things, and showed up even when she didn't ask. Lena slowly started falling for him without even realizing it. But, as always, life had its twists. One day, Ethan stopped replying to her texts. Lena tried not to overthink it, but her mind kept spinning. Did she say something wrong? Was he losing interest? Finally, one morning, she decided to find out what was going on. She went back to the cafe. No Ethan. She waited. 10 minutes. 20. An hour. Just as she was about to give up and leave, she heard someone call her name. "Lena?" She turned around, and there he was, looking exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. "I'm so sorry," he said, catching his breath. "I got caught up with some family stuff. My dad's been sick, and I didn't know how to bring it up." In that moment, all her frustration just melted away. She said softly, "You could have told me, Ethan." He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I know. I just didn't want to drag you into it." They talked things out for hours that day. About life, family, and fear. Lena realized that love isn't about constant messages or perfect timing. It's about showing up, even when things fall apart. It's about figuring things out together, not running away when it gets hard. That evening, as they walked out of the cafe together, Lena understood something important. Love doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it just sits beside you, smiling with a cup of coffee in hand. And that was just the beginning. After that rainy cafe day, Lena and Ethan's connection grew. Slowly, quietly, they would run into each other between classes, grab coffee together, or hang out at the park, sharing playlists, favorite books, and random jokes. Ethan had this way of bringing out Lena's laughter, even when she thought she was too stressed. But sometimes, Lena noticed him zone out, staring into the distance, as if something was weighing him down. One evening, while walking by the lake, Lena asked gently, "Everything okay?" He shook it off at first, saying, "I'm fine, don't worry." But she could tell he was holding something back. Later, over coffee, he finally opened up. He spoke about his dad's health, the late-night jobs he was taking on to help his family, and how he'd been burning himself out. Lena just listened, her heart quietly breaking for him. "You don't have to carry it all alone," she whispered. Ethan looked up, eyes soft. "I'm scared I'll mess things up, but I can't stop trying." From then on, Lena realized love isn't just laughter or late-night walks. It's also standing beside someone while they figure things out. Over the next months, they continued to hang out, go on drives, watch sunsets, and share small, quiet moments. Everything felt effortless, like the world slowed down just for them. But then, life intervened. Ethan received an internship offer in New York, a big opportunity for his architecture career. When he told Lena, she tried to act casual, but her chest tightened. "It's only 6 months," Ethan said softly. "I'll come back before you know it." She smiled, trying not to show how much she feared the distance. "Go for it. Don't hold back because of me." The day he left, Lena stood by the cafe, watching him walk away, feeling a quiet ache in her chest. At first, they texted and called every day, but soon his schedule got crazier, and the messages started fading away. Lena tried not to overthink it, but her mind kept spinning. One night, she saw him on social media, smiling with a coworker. She didn't reach out, instead choosing to pull away for a while, to sort out her own feelings. Months later, Ethan returned. Same city, same cafe, but everything felt different. Lena sat quietly, trying to play it cool. He walked in, hesitated for a moment, then said softly, "Hey, stranger." Lena smiled faintly. "Hey, New York boy." They sat in silence at first, the kind that isn't awkward. It's peaceful. Then Ethan began talking about the city, his projects, and finally, his regrets. "I know I should have kept in touch," he said. "I didn't know how to balance it all. But I never stopped thinking about you." Lena looked at him, her heart softening. She realized sometimes love doesn't fade, it just changes shape. It had been weeks since Ethan came back from New York. The city was the same, but something between them still hung in the air. They'd run into each other a few times, at the cafe, at the park, even at the bookstore. But every conversation ended with that unfinished silence. One Saturday evening, Lena decided to stop running from it. She dropped by the cafe, where everything began. The same corner table, the same soft jazz in the background. Only this time, she wasn't waiting for anyone. But fate had other plans. The bell rang above the door, and when she looked up, there he was, Ethan, holding a bunch of white tulips, slightly drenched from the drizzle outside. Their eyes met, and for a second, everything else faded away. He walked over, hesitant at first, and said softly, "Can I sit?" Lena just nodded, her fingers fiddling with the edge of her cup. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Ethan let out a deep breath, like he'd been holding it in for too long. "Lena," he began, "I've tried to move on, tried to shut down what I feel, but it's like every time I walk past that park or hear that song we used to hum, it all comes rushing back. You've been the calm in my chaos, the light I didn't know I needed." Lena's eyes softened. She looked down, trying to hold herself together. He continued, voice trembling but sincere. "I know I messed up. I got scared. I thought if I focused on my career, everything would fall into place. But every time something good happened, I wanted to tell you first. And every time something went wrong, I wanted you there. I can't shake you off, Lena. You're everywhere, in every heartbeat, every plan, every morning thought." He paused, eyes glistening. "I love you. Not the kind that fades away when things get tough, but the kind that stays, that fights, that waits even when it hurts." Lena's voice barely came out. "Why now, Ethan?" He smiled faintly. "Because sometimes you have to lose someone to realize they were your home all along." Tears welled up in her eyes, but she smiled, that soft, knowing smile that once made him fall for her. She reached across the table and took his hand. "You didn't lose me," she whispered. "You just took the long way back." That night, they didn't need many words. They just sat there, hands intertwined, coffee cold, hearts warm. The city lights flickered outside, and it felt like time itself slowed down to let them start over. Because sometimes love doesn't disappear. It just waits for the right moment to speak again.